Wake up. It's the first of the month. Happy
Yes.
November.
Wow.
And happy, what is this, episode 10, I think, of WG season 2?
Episode 10, although people will be watching this on November 2nd.
Yes. Okay.
But for us,
People watch it on the 2nd. It is the 2nd of the month for you. It's first of the month right now for us. Had to bring out the Playboy Cardi quote for Dante.
Wow.
As always, we're your hosts, Adam.
Dante?
And Luke.
Just the three of us this week. No guests this week, but had to rock it back, just the three of us for a week, you know. It was fun having the RMU guys on.
Of course.
They'll definitely be back before season's end. I fully believe it. Luke, we know you're trying to get a Patriots fan on here. That's in the works.
We got some other things in the works, you know.
We're
real low key.
I'm not going to reveal much more into that. We'll leave y'all thinking, get the suspense building.
It's on a big wait and see basis.
Yeah, but
just like the Panthers were, but that wait is finally over.
Oh yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, boys. I guess we'll jump right into that, shall we?
For anybody listening and not watching, Adam is rocking. Well, do you want to tell him?
Bryce Young jersey.
Bryce Young jersey.
His hat with Bryce Young autograph printed on.
Mm-hmm.
Dante, who's that Steelers jersey?
Oh, I got the Steelers essential black and white hat. My favorite hat.
Dante, make him guess on the back like you did with me.
Okay, it's number 82. Any guesses?
I'm gonna look like real casual, but nothing's coming to mind.
I didn't know either.
It's not Steven Sims, our GOAT punt returner. It happens to be Super Bowl hero Antoine Randall L. Wide receiver and the Washington, which was Redskins, now Commanders, but
say that one more time. It was a little hard to hear with your back turn.
Antoine Randall L, the GOAT.
That is a crazy jersey pull.
Dude, yeah, I got this on eBay for like $20. And
that's elite.
Hey,
a stitched like Reebok one.
Wow.
Like, you see the sleeve? Like, I love this shirt.
Beauty.
Funny story, speaking of eBay, I just ordered a Phillies Red October Cup and they sent me the wrong thing completely. Some random wrestling action figure. So I messaged a person. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, we got it all situated. I think the cup's on the way, but like,
nice.
I was like, and she left a note. She was like, you ordering this made my day. And I'm like, well, I'm glad I made your day, but I'm wondering where my cup's at, you know?
Are you gonna keep the WWE figure?
We sent it back.
Okay.
I don't have a need for it.
Who was it? Do you know who it was?
I don't know.
He asked me to, and I recognized like the face, but I couldn't. It's not somebody I could put names to.
It wasn't in a box.
Old, like late 2000s, early 2010s WWE.
That's my like prime for WWE.
Oh, I know, but it was never like one of the top guys. I don't know.
Makes sense.
I can pull up a couple pictures later and we can figure it out.
So you got
this isn't a wrestling podcast.
Yeah,
so.
okay. Yeah. Good point.
All right. Well, since we talk about the Panthers, I guess I'll
That'd
talk
be fun,
about it a bit. Carolina with week what was this? Week 8? Finally got the win.
Yeah.
First one of the year. Now 1-6. Beat the Texans 15-13. Defense played exceptionally. Couldn't ask for anything better. And I always shout out the Steelers, Dante. The Steelers defense is just incredible. I want to point out, sorry to bring it back up, but the Texans somehow scored 30 points on that Steelers defense.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Meanwhile, Carolina's held them to 13-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we played poorly that game. You guys balled out for real. That's a tough.
I believe one team. I believe there was each team got a touchdown. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Texans was some random. I forget his name, but Panthers, I believe, was to Adam Thielen, and then Eddie Pinheiro. Yeah, it was, and then Pinheiro missed the extra point, but he made every single other field goal, including the game winner, which after like 2 or 3 flags was from like 23 yards out. So it was literally a chip shot for him, but he made it. We won. Now going into the week, Victory Monday was incredible, but, you know, mindset shifts onto the Colts. But I will say it was fun watching Bryce Young and TJ Stroud play. Those two are amazing friends. They really respect each other, and they could be the future of this league, both of them.
Bryce had a good game. I'm just looking at the stats right now.
Yeah.
And
Really.
outside of not having a touchdown, Stroud played pretty decent also.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
back.
they both played fine. I forget if there was any interceptions. I know Bryce did not throw one.
No, I didn't say any.
EJ didn't throw one either, I don't think. But
How'd
yeah,
how'd Brian Burns play? He played pretty well.
I think he was fine. I will say though, speaking of the defense, Frankie Louvu was incredible. He got NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
Nice. Hell yeah.
That guy is also a free agent. We got to bring him back too. There's so many free agents on this team, especially that defense. Brian Burns, Jeremy Chin, Frankie Louvu are all free agents. Got to make sure those guys come back. Can't lose them.
How do you pronounce number 54's name? Gruger Hill? How do you
I think
pronounce
it's Kruger Hill.
Gruger Hill? I've seen him. What position does he play? So I'm just rating the whole roster right now.
No, you're good. I'm not that great with defense, so I might not know.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. There's
Yeah. Like offensive and defensive line positions aren't like my greatest thing, but
I forgot you got Justin Houston. What the hell?
yeah, it's so random. Like Justin Houston and Deion Jones are both on our defense, but they're like older, so everyone forgets about it.
It's like Pat Pete for us.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't know for the Patriots.
Well, I would say Jabril Peppers, but he's been one of our best players.
Yeah, I forgot he
like
was.
I guess maybe like Juju. Everyone forgets Juju's there.
Yeah. I think Juju forgets Juju's there.
I always like Juju.
I think he caught a touchdown this week.
I think he did. Yeah, I think I saw that.
Respect.
Which, cool. But yeah, Panthers, you could not much more.
Not much else I really need to say other than, I mean, this is literally the Thomas Brown effect. Like, you've seen it. He wanted a win in his first game calling the plays. He got it. I expect, whether we win or not, I expect this team to look better going forward, actually compete in some games, regardless of, who we're playing. Like, we got an easier stretch coming up. Like, we got the Colts this week, then the Bears on Thursday Night Football 4 days after that. Then we have the Cowboys, so it's gonna be tough. And then I think it's the Titans after that in Tennessee. And then some divisional games. Like we play the division 3 weeks in a row. I think it goes all on Bucks on the road, Saints on the road, and then Falcons. And then I think we play Green Bay, Jacksonville, and Tampa one more time, something like that. So there's some winnable games in there.
There definitely are.
Yeah.
You guys need to be capitalizing on that, though. I mean, 1-6 is great. Celebrating this win is great. I'm very happy for you guys, but it is still 1-6. And I think we all definitely thought they'd be better, but a couple wins down the stretch here. I'm not saying you guys are going to get anywhere near 500 this year, but you definitely want to see yourselves winning some of these divisional games.
Mm-hmm.
Never know, man. Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you never know.
Pittsburgh was what, 2-6, and they finished the season 9-8. That is a Mike Tomlin led team, which like Mike Tomlin when the function has 9 wins. That's all we do. But
Mike Tomlin, he loves 9-win seasons.
Loves them.
Standard is the standard.
Standard is the standard. 9 wins and barely making the playoffs. But
anyways, do you guys want to get into your games a little bit? I know neither of you are probably happy with the outcomes, but
yeah,
I don't have much to say, so Dante, you can just go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have much to say either. It was definitely an ugly game. Actually, I do have some things to say. I know every Steeler fan has been saying this for the past 3 or 4 days. Worst officiating game I've ever seen in my life.
It was bad. It was terrible.
Not saying that that's like a cop-out, because the Steelers did not play up to their full capabilities. But man, some of those calls were rough. Specifically, the one I'm thinking about is the roughing the passer called on Trevor Lawrence. And then the one that Kenny didn't get. It was the most...
One that Kenny didn't get specifically.
Literally did. And the one on Trevor Lawrence, it was the most textbook tackle. And he was in the tackling motion while Trevor still had the ball in his hand. And he wrapped him around his waist and brought him to the ground like the most normal football move I've ever seen in my life. Flag. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm trying
Roughing
to.
the passer is one of those rules that they made too many distinct rules inside that rule.
Mhm.
It has to be this or it has to be that, and nobody really knows, so the refs can get away with getting it wrong. But then again, it's so obvious. Whether there are some plays where it's like, what's the guy going to do? You're barreling at a quarterback at 18 miles an hour and he throws the ball, you're 2 feet away from his chest. You're going to run over him as long as you don't actively try to throw him into the dirt. You
Yeah,
kind of don't call it if you get out of the way, if you roll off of him, if you're to the side, if you just bring him down. But there, and then there's some cases like what happened against Kenny.
mhm.
It was just so obvious. It's intent. It's not stopping. It's seeing the ball being thrown and still being in the mindset of let me run this guy over.
Which essentially knocked Kenny out of the game with a rib injury.
It
So
did.
the least you could do is give us an extra 15 yards and help sustain a drive instead of hurting us by calling a like if that um roughing the passer on Lawrence was a sack and not a completion, it wouldn't have been called a roughing the passer. It would have been a sack. You know,
That's the other thing too is you never see it. I don't know if that's like how it goes, but you never see it unless the ball is thrown.
the only one I've seen that was a sack was earlier this year whenever Minka blitzed and sacked Jimmy Garoppolo in the Raider game, and that was called a roughing the passer for some reason. I guess he landed with his body weight on him, but then again, how it's so tough to control that, you know.
Especially so roughing the passer, we're talking about when the ball has been thrown. At that point, control yourself. When you're going for a sack, I understand that that's called less because sacks are so hard to come by. Even a guy like TJ Watt, a great year is 18 sacks, 17, somewhere in that range. It's one a game. You're trying to pressure the quarterback 50 plus, maybe not that many, but so many times a game. It's so hard to come by that controlling yourself while trying to go for the sack is so difficult. But when you see the ball being thrown, you should get out of that mindset.
No, definitely. But
And there's
yeah,
nothing wrong with bumping into the quarterback, moving off of him, giving him some pressure still, maybe even taking him to the ground. But you don't slam a guy. You send a message a little bit. You just don't slam a guy. It's not what you do. And the refs, they just have to be more consistent about it. I can
that's
get into
how
my game a little bit after too, but the Patriots game was not officiated well at all either. But the Steelers have had 2 games in a row, really, which I will say I touched on this last week. I think the reffing was a little bit in the favor of the Steelers against the Rams.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that it's been 2 weeks in a row with multiple extremely questionable calls. I saw a tweet this week. This is Roger Goodell's legacy that he's going to leave on the NFL. He is going to be remembered for, well, under him, it was horrible officiating with no accountability. No accountability.
Yeah, and I heard like I don't know if they have like a crew chief like they do in baseball, how there's an umpire crew chief. I'm sure you guys know about that. I don't know if there's a certain like
I don't
head of
know.
head of group for officiating, but I
I don't
know
know.
one of the
Yes.
main guys, one of the main guys for the that was officiating that Steeler game was the guy who made the wrong call on the reach for Kenny. So it was like some of the same people officiating that game, the Rams Steelers game to this game.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Definitely interesting.
So do you have any other thoughts on the Steelers?
No, I mean, Mitch, I don't just throwing it in the triple coverage, throwing 2 picks. Did throw a nice touchdown to George Pickens, and George
Yeah,
Pickens did an incredible hurdle for a
but I was
touchdown.
going to say that was 75% George Pickens.
Yeah, and you see what happens whenever you get the ball to Pickens, which we need to do more. But
Absolutely.
yeah, ugly game. I think our offense is still getting better. We did drive down the field on a few drives, but yeah, small improvements. But wish we could have got this one. But
I definitely have been seeing. I have been seeing some improvement from you guys.
yeah, yeah. Thank God.
Thank God. But it's a tale as old as time. Fourth quarter Steelers, they know what they're doing somehow. Maybe it comes down to the fact that the because of the pressure and the time crunch, The quarterback's audible out of a lot of Matt Canada's plays. It's a lot of no huddle. It's a lot of just being forced to moving the ball downfield instead of these 2-yard runs and checkdowns. But if you could bottle up that energy from the late game drives and just spread that out over an entire game, you'd be all right. But they'll be trying to fix that for as long as I'm alive, I think.
Yeah, until we get a new OC, which should be this offseason. But
you would think, you would hope.
I really hope so.
But I can get in my own game and say from personal experience right now, be careful what you wish for, because I guess it's looked okay. Mac has looked okay these past 2 weeks. He looked great in the Bills game. I've already gone over that. That's history now.
Mm-hmm.
But our offense hasn't. If you look at the numbers, it's not much better under Bill O'Brien. It's just not. It is what it is. It's a failure again from the front office to surround Mac Jones with any talent, with a decent O-line, and the coaching needs to be better. I knew we weren't going to beat Miami. I said this in the previous episode. I said, if we had beaten Miami and then we're playing Buffalo, I probably would have picked us. But having known that we had just beaten Buffalo playing Miami, it was too good to be true. We were never going to beat Miami. We just don't beat Miami. Tua Tagovailoa has never started and lost a game against Bill Belichick.
Oh my God.
He's the only guy who can say that with that kind of stat. It's crazy. They completely own us in recent history. They're just a bad matchup. The Steelers are a lot like the Patriots in the way that the style of football we play. Running down your throat, play tough on defense, contain the wide receivers, steady progress. But the Dolphins are one of the only teams in the NFL to really just completely abandon that. And when it works, it really works. They just run right past you. That's about it. They just run right past you.
Yeah.
So with our secondary as banged up as it was, I'm basically just reiterating everything I predicted for this game in the last episode and everything I said for the reasons why we would lose. And they were the reasons we lost. Our secondary was banged up, couldn't contain Tyreek Hill. Our O-line couldn't hold it together for more than 2 seconds. Mac Jones threw one interception at least, so did Tua, but it just wasn't that good of a game. We held it kind of close. We were within a touchdown in the fourth quarter. I'll take that. I think it was 24-17. So there were times where we could have really turned it on and a couple plays go our way. It could have been a really close game at the end, but in the end, I think we lost by 2 scores. So it was the most obvious thing ever to me. And I'm not going to let it completely dictate how I feel going forward about this team, because I never thought we were going to beat Miami. I'm just glad they didn't 50-piece us like they did to Denver. And I'm glad that we kept it competitive. I said it last week. I'm saying so many things again, but I don't know what happened those 2 weeks where we lost a combined 72-3. If those weeks didn't happen, I'd be feeling okay about the Patriots instead of thinking that we should blow it up. And I don't know if we should blow it up. I know that we shouldn't pay Mac, and we should draft Caleb or Drake May given the chance. But, maybe we won't be the worst team in the league, even though right now we are the worst team in the AFC. It is what it is. That's all I gotta say. Hey, we beat the Bills, we beat the Jets. That's fun. I can have that.
Free Jets win every year.
Free Jets. Two Jets wins every year. We'll see the next time they play them. But 2-2 in our division with being swept by Miami, I'll take that.
Nice.
Fair.
Yeah.
Breaking from Ian Rappaport.
Go for it.
Steelers quarterback Kenny Pickett was a full participant today and has no game status. He'll play on Thursday night.
Let's go.
Good
stuff.
Kenny against Will Levis. Battle Pitt versus Penn State QBs.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
I remember when Will Levis was a Penn Stater, and he was very average. But he came in against Ohio State after McSorley got hurt and threw a couple touchdowns. However, it was like in garbage time. So
Well, most of the time, like we did for Drew Aller in the past, we didn't ask him to do a heck of a lot.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
so he never really escaped that at Penn State.
yeah.
He went to Kentucky where he could be a starter. And really, he did not have a very good senior year, but Titans took him start of the second round, and they probably thought that he wouldn't see the field this year, but I'm sure they're glad he did.
Well, that's a good segue into.
Definitely is.
I guess if you guys want to review last week's games,
Yeah,
or
we can talk about a couple
Yeah,
of
we
things
can.
last
I
week.
mean, trade deadline just happened. Do you want me to let the viewers know what trades went down?
yeah, let them know what the Steelers did.
And I'm gonna know what the Patriots did.
Well,
Took
our
it down.
team did nothing, but I'll just go main rundown of players. Leonard Williams is now a Seahawk. Contavious Street's a Falcon. Ezra Cleveland of the Jaguars.
He's
Donovan
underrated.
Peoples-Jones is
He's
returning.
underrated. I like
Detroit.
DJ. I don't know if you guys saw what I was saying to Josh in our group chat, but like one of my favorite, just really underrated receiver. My favorite outside of Nick Chubb, probably my favorite Cleveland Brown, if I had to pick one. Peoples-Jones, man, whenever the Browns need him, he comes up big. He's a good deep threat. The Lions definitely got a good one there.
Yeah. Then some of the other bigger ones, Rasul Douglas is a Bill. We had Josh Dobbs going to the Vikings. I'm excited for that one. And then two big ones, Commanders dealing away two very good pass rushers, Montez Sweat to the Bears and Chase Young to the 49ers.
That's unreal.
Chase Young and Nick Bosa are back together.
That's insane.
Good luck to anybody.
Only a third round pick.
Washington got back was a second and a third this year for those two. That's crazy.
I know. I mean, Montez Sweat is obviously a really good player, but just getting Chase Young on a better offense where he could, expose some weaknesses on some offenses, that's going to be unreal. He's going to have a resurgence.
Crazy, yeah. Can't believe he went for a third round pick.
I mean, to me, it's understandable. I mean, he hasn't done a lot in Washington.
He hasn't, especially not since the beginning of his career.
Mhm.
But that's just the way the NFL trade market is right now. It's crazy to me.
Did he win Defensive Rookie of the Year?
It's a good question.
Chase Young?
Yeah.
Yeah, he won in
did.
I believe in 2020.
2020. Okay.
Adam, don't you have a Chase Young Washington jersey?
I do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And do you want to say the funny thing about that jersey, Adam?
Yeah, I bought it. It was like cheap off that DHgate website. I bought it with a Redskins logo on it. And right after I got it, they changed the name to the football team.
That's pretty sick, though.
Yeah,
That's actually
It's
like
pretty
rare.
sick.
it is. Yeah, but I still have it. Number 99 and everything.
Is it the throwback? Is it like the darker?
Yeah, it's like the
Purple?
gold, like alternate that
That
they
one's
used to
hard.
have. I don't think they wear it anymore.
Yeah.
That's a shame. Those black alternates are cool though. I gotta give it to them. I like them.
I feel like people either love or hate the Commanders jerseys.
I like them.
I think they're kind of meh, to be honest.
Yeah, they're not the
They're
best,
fine.
thing, but they're cool.
I really like the black ones. The black ones are sick. But
With
like
the number on the helmet.
yeah, that's so sick. But like the home and away, they're kind of like okay. I don't know.
I mean, the Washington Commanders, that name itself is just mid.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really expected the greatest jerseys in the world, but I do agree with you. Those black jerseys are clean.
I remember reading something and it said the Commanders went from the Redskins to the people that killed them.
I'm not gonna throw a flag on that.
I mean,
I mean, there is something to be said about the fact that, I'm not going to try to remember or even pronounce if I knew the name of the tribe or the group of indigenous people that made what sort of a petition to change the name back to the Redskins because they felt it more honored them instead of poking fun at them. There is something to be said about that. And I don't know what the new management over there is going to do, what the new ownership, but I just don't see by the time, well, in the next 20 years, I don't see them still being the Commanders.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the intention was, you know, insensitive. I think the name just sounds kind of insensitive.
I don't think definitely not at the time. At the time, if you read the origin story of the name Redskins, it was definitely not like considered insensitive. It was definitely not had. It definitely didn't have bad intentions, but it is one of those where like you could definitely see it in the name. It's
Yeah.
not exactly like Indians or Blackhawks or
Yeah.
even Chiefs. Like Redskins is a little. All right. Before we get canceled, let's.
Yeah, I was about to say.
We're talking about their game. We were talking about Chase Young.
Kind of both. I can run through last week's fantasy leaders real quick.
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Jalen Waddle was our honorable mention. We had a tied to
Finally
15
did something.
with Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase. Yeah, Jalen Waddle had 25.1. Tyreek Hill and Chase had 25.2. 25.5 for Trey McBride. Expect more of him as the new Arizona tight end with Zach Ertz on IR. Tried to pick him up this week, didn't work. That's okay. Travis Etienne, 25.9 at 13. We finally have the Titans debut, Will Levis at number 12 with 26.62. 27 for Alvin Kamara. He's been playing well. 27.36 for Jalen Hurts. 27.62 for Joe Burrow. 28.06 for Dak Prescott. 29.06 for Josh Allen. 29.4 for Gus Edwards. Then 29.9 for Jahmyr Gibbs. 30.98 for Sam Howell. And finally, our top three. 33 on the dot for AJ Brown, 34.8 for the second Titan of the week, DeAndre Hopkins. And number one this week, 41 on the dot for CD Lamb. Those are your fantasy leaders this week.
Nice.
No Steelers, no Panthers, no Patriots, but that's okay.
Speaking of D-Hop, I don't know why I'm the Adam Schefter of the show
Oh,
right
you're good. I heard this earlier, but go ahead.
Yeah, D-Hop he did not practice today, and he is questionable with a toe injury for Thursday night's game.
Be a
And
big
then,
loss.
and then Ryan Tannehill is officially out, so it's officially Will Levis and Kenny Pickett playing tomorrow night or tonight as you're watching this.
Yes.
Yep, tonight as you're watching this.
Man,
That'll be an exciting game, and there's no World Series on tomorrow, no matter if the Rangers win at this current moment today or if they're traveling. If they don't win tonight, they're traveling back to Texas for Game 6 Friday. So no matter what, as the Kylian Mbappe meme says, I will be there no matter what. I'll be tuning in to Steelers and Titans tomorrow.
hey, maybe once again, this is us from the past, but maybe the Rangers are World Series champions right now. Who knows?
That is true. Maybe they are.
Corey Seager could have his World Series MVP right now because I genuinely think he's winning it.
My prediction is the Rangers are winning tonight. They're winning the whole thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I don't know. I'm
yeah,
not sure. I think Arizona could take a game, but I do think Rangers. I think the series is over.
Big game Nate's on the mound. That's all I'm gonna say.
Who is?
Big game Nathan Eovaldi.
Oh, Eovaldi.
Yeah, Nathan Eovaldi in the World Series. Rangers got him tonight.
Against Zach Gallen, yeah, Rangers.
Zach Gallen's all right. I mean,
hasn't been playing well in October though.
The Pirates torched that guy in the regular season.
They did. Yes.
In the postseason. Anyway, let's get back into football. Do we want to go over last week, or do we want to just jump into week 9?
Briefly, you can mention.
Oh well, yeah.
Say jump in. I don't know. I mean, you could mention.
You can mention the big upsets. For example, the Broncos beating the Chiefs.
Yeah,
what
how about that?
I mean, the Steelers always have one, or not the Steelers. The Chiefs always have one pretty confusing loss. Last year's Indianapolis. It's just the script writers making it interesting. The Chiefs can't look invincible every year.
I mean, the Steelers and Chiefs are basically the same team in terms of success.
Yeah, I mistakenly said Steelers. I could have left it there, but no, I'm just kidding.
I mean, we all know the team's better, and they're from Western PA, but
anyway. I kind of view it as like the Broncos and Chiefs. It's kind of like Ohio State dominated Michigan for years. Eventually, whether we like it or not, that streak's going to end. And this time it's like Denver ending that streak. But like Michigan beating Ohio State 2 years in a row, as a Kansas City, if you're a Kansas City fan, you got to hope the Denver beating you does not continue. I don't think it will.
It should.
They'll have to wait till next year, though, because no chance Denver's making the playoffs, so they won't play again.
Yeah.
But any other upsets this week? I guess you can call Panthers an upset slightly.
Bengals
49ers
beat the
lost
Niners
again.
by a lot.
Yeah, Bengals. Niners have lost 3 in a row.
I don't think Brock Purdy should have been out there this week. He's obviously, maybe he was technically cleared from his concussion, but he's obviously still dealing with some recovery from that concussion. He got slammed to the ground again. The checkdowns weren't there. It wasn't smart to have him out there.
Tell you what, man, well, never mind. I was about to make a point, but
No, you're good.
I realized my facts were wrong, so never mind.
Oh, okay.
Well, another thing we can point out is that Joe Burrow is back.
Yeah.
That team had their annual 4-week "Do the Bengals suck?" and now they're fine. So I think he went something like 23 for 25. I forget if that was in the first half or whatever it was. I think he had like an 11 for 11 drive. Last week Joe Burrow played better than any other quarterback I watched.
Yeah. Funny story about Burrow. He was playing really poorly earlier in the year and got dropped to waivers in my fantasy league, and I picked him up. And now Joe Burrow's my quarterback after drafting Justin Fields. So, which was
That
nice.
is crazy.
Is this the league we're in, or is this a different one?
Differently with my buddies up here, but
That's fair. Yeah, hey, gotta do what you gotta do. Fields didn't look great to start, injured now, but Burrow's been great. But it's kind of like you think of it also as a different story this year, because last year Bengals had their slow start but still won the division. This year they're back now, but the Ravens are looking really good. So it may not be as easy as it was last year for Cincy to get that division. It could still be Baltimore's. Who knows?
yeah.
One of those teams has to be a wild card team. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they both will after the Steelers went out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Obviously.
I think we're still in it. I think we could still make the playoffs.
Cool.
We
Yeah,
shall
hey,
see.
still definitely realistic. But with that being said, do we want to jump into our week 9 picks?
Yep.
All right, Dante, why don't you start us off? Because you know who's playing Thursday Night Football. Go for it.
Yeah. The Tennessee Titans coming off a pretty solid win against the Atlanta Falcons, coming to act for sure to play the Steelers. On Thursday night, our first Thursday night game of the year. One of two, actually, because we'll be playing the Patriots on Thursday night later in the year, which will be fun. But as of now, I don't know. Having Kenny back should be beneficial to us compared to Mitch. However, we do have to play Will Levis, who's absolutely lit the Falcons defense up yesterday. I mean, not yesterday, this past Sunday. And yeah, he is definitely a factor in this game. I'm excited to see how we perform against him. Another big name coming back for the Steelers, most likely, is Cam Hayward. Super excited for that, to see if he plays tomorrow. And if he does, that will be huge in stopping Derrick Henry in the run game, which is definitely a big priority for us. Yeah, I'm excited. Under the lights, I will be there. Mbappe,
Great.
I will be there.
I will be there no matter what.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. It's going to be a cold one. My prediction, it's going to be definitely low scoring, because we all know primetime games in Pittsburgh are very close, except for that one time against Carolina.
I was there for that one too.
Sorry, Adam.
Oh, good night. No, that's all good. That's
But,
the last time I was on Heinz Field, actually.
Yeah,
I haven't been there since.
back when it was Heinz Field.
Yes,
True.
But I'm predicting a Steeler win here. I'm gonna take the Steelers, and the score, I think, is gonna be about 17-13. Very low scoring. Steelers.
Sick.
Yeah, Steelers are gonna turn it up in the fourth quarter, as they always do. And defensive battle. And two, mediocre offenses. We'll see how they perform. But yeah, I have the Steelers winning this one in a close fight.
Luke, I know who I'm picking. Do you want me to go, or do you want to go?
I do want you to go because I'm not sure.
I'm actually going to go Pittsburgh as well. I'm not going to lie. I was back and forth leading up to this game. I was kind of thinking more Tennessee yesterday when I wasn't sure if Kenny was going to go. But now that I know he's playing, I think this is the type of game you bounce back, you get a win. The Steelers are usually pretty good under the primetime slate. When they have primetime games in their own home field, they usually don't disappoint. I don't know if you mentioned it. I was kind of,
No, you're all good. No worries.
a little bit, but are you guys wearing the Color Rush jerseys tomorrow?
Nothing's been announced. I hope so, because that would be the first game I go to see the Color Rush in person, which would be super fun.
Awesome.
But I feel like the Steelers usually wait to wear their Color Rush till like the beginning of winter, like Thanksgiving. Like we wore them against the Ravens in Thanksgiving. We wore them in December against the Patriots whenever we beat them the second time around after the Jesse James catch, which was just a really good game all around for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the Patriots, they do have a Thursday night game coming up in a few weeks against New England, so maybe they'll
I can definitely see us wearing them then. Dude, imagine our Color Rush versus Pat the Patriot, all red.
That'd be
a killer.
That'd be amazing. I think we're done wearing those for the year, but that'd be amazing.
But
have you guys worn them twice already, or just once?
Just once. I thought we were only wearing them once.
They are nice though. They're beautiful.
Well, we're talking about jerseys. I know these guys are wearing these blue beauties one more time. Carolina's processed blue uniforms. That'll be whenever we go to Tampa Bay on the road. I forget.
That'll be nice.
Yeah, we wore blue in Tampa Bay last year. Didn't win, so hopefully we can switch that this time. But anyways, back to this game. Like I said, I'm going with the Steelers. I think it'll be a game, like Dante said, like a 17-13 game where maybe it's kind of close, low scoring, but then Pittsburgh turns it up in the fourth quarter and they get a win. A nice win to maybe silence some doubters after last Jacksonville game, after last week's Jaguars game. So
we just need like an offensive explosion. We just need
nice. That would be
to break the 400 yards, break the 400 yards drought streak. You know what I mean? I need to throw multiple touchdowns again. I'm just praying to God, but have 100 yards plus on the ground. These are all things every NFL team basically does every week, except for the Steelers. But guys, do not take it for granted having a good offense.
Not totally incorrect. With the last thing you mentioned, I am going to pick the Titans. I think. I don't know what it is. I just think that they have a little bit more offensive, explosive potential. What you were just alluding to.
Yeah.
Defense should be able to make it a great game. A very close game at that, but I do think the Titans are going to end up winning.
Fair. It's all about, there are a bunch of injuries this week. I mean, we don't even know who's playing for each team right now, but maybe that'll sway our decision later. But anyway, getting into this Sunday game, Adam. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 9:30. Germany. Is that where this is?
Frankfurt. Yeah, Frankfurt, Germany.
I have said 1 second.
Sorry, it sounds like a Drake song. 9:30 in Germany.
9:30 in Frankfurt for real.
Yeah.
With
sorry, I had to actually text Luke something for after the show. But anyway, I've said in the past that I don't wake up a lot for the London games or the international games. This one is probably worth me waking up for. We got the Dolphins and the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be good. I know who I'm picking if you guys don't.
I do, and I'm fairly confident.
I'm fairly confident.
Who wants to go first then?
I think it might be a clean sweep, to be honest with you. I'll go first.
I'm
picking Miami.
Okay.
I can go second, and I can tell you it's not going to be a clean sweep.
Oh wow!
I'm picking the Chiefs.
Okay.
I'm not letting their last game get into my head at all. They're still the Chiefs. I doubt Taylor Swift's going to make the trip to Germany. But hopefully that means they can escape any bad luck that she brings, because I'm sure she brings some of it. So I am going to confidently pick them against Miami.
Okay.
Oh, not to get all with the Swifties here, but I think the Chiefs are gonna take that loss from last week, shake it off, and beat the Dolphins. Sorry, guys, I had to.
Got
No,
bad blood in that.
I thought about this game.
no,
Listen, I'm gonna drop at least
that's one too many.
on this year.
Luke,
Just-
you know it all too well.
I promise.
That's a couple too many.
Anyway, I was gonna say, I was thinking about this game, and I just don't know. I've picked the Dolphins a lot this year for one, and I've picked them against some really good teams, Buffalo and Philly, the two teams they've lost to. That just tells me a specific pattern. They lose to really good teams. I think they could beat the Chiefs, but I don't know. I'm gonna go with my gut here. My gut's telling me Kansas City. So they're technically the home team in this. Not that matters, but I mean, if they were playing at Arrowhead, it would definitely matter. But
True.
anyways, 1 p.m. slate, starting with the Battle of Mid, I guess, maybe. I don't know if the Vikings are mid, but it's Vikings and Falcons. Falcons are definitely mid. Excuse me. Both teams are going to have new starting quarterbacks for this game. The Vikings are going to be starting rookie Jaron Hall, although they did just trade for Josh Dobbs, like I said, but I saw Hall's getting the start. And the Falcons, who benched Desmond Ridder today, are going to be rocking with Panthers legend Taylor Heineke in this game. But that being said, I'm still going to go to the Vikings. I think they're a better team. They've shown they're a better offense. I'm going to put trust in this rookie, Jaron Hall. I don't know very much about him, but I'm going to trust him for a week. I think they can get a win on the road. Atlanta has just been such a question mark to me. They don't seem like they know how to run their offense, and their defense, I just don't know if they could step up. So for that reason, if you guys take Atlanta, I won't be surprised, but I'm going to go Minnesota for this one.
I'm going to take Atlanta.
Okay.
I think Heineke has more experience, and I trust him way more to manage on offense. I'm not going to say run an offense because, neither of these guys really know how to run an offense. They're both probably game managers, at least from Heineke's standpoint. But yeah, I mean, is Jefferson still out or is he back?
Yes, he's still out.
Then yeah, that even solidifies my decision even more to take Atlanta in this one.
I'm taking Atlanta as well. I agree. I just think that there's less question marks all over the field. The Vikings could look okay. I don't think it's going to be pretty this week. No Justin Jefferson, no more Kirk Cousins. And the Falcons, I think they did the right thing benching Desmond Ridder. Yeah, I never thought that they actually thought he was going to be their long-term answer. He was just kind of a placeholder. And I think that time is over. Taylor Heineke is the best quarterback on that roster. So I do think that he has a good chance to be able to, like you said, game manage them to a win here.
And is there nothing wrong with Ridder right now, injury-wise? They just benched him.
He did have a concussion, but
okay.
He did, but then he was cleared to come back in the second half of that game, and they didn't put him back in anyways.
Oh, wow. 1 second, fellas.
I think I'm going to stick with the Vikings here. I don't think I'm going to.
Yeah, stick with the Vikings. It's.
Oh yeah, I don't blame you. I could definitely see them winning this game.
Oh, you're good. Anyways,
Very
I'll start previewing the next game. We got Bears and Saints in New Orleans, rematch of the 2020 wild card round, back when Drew Brees was still playing, and Mitch Trubisky was the Bears QB1. Wild times. Not quite the Trubisky versus Brees matchup. We have Derek Carr against Tyson Bagent. I'm gonna go with the Saints in this one. I'm really not impressed with the Bears from last week. I know they made a great defensive upgrade bringing in Montez Sweat, but I'm still convinced. I mean, the Saints have had their question marks, but they looked good last week. I think they can carry that momentum into this game and beat the Bears. I mean, how hard is that really? So I'm gonna say New Orleans for this one.
True.
I'm gonna go with the Saints as well. Bears. Anytime they get a win, it's like kind of a sneaky. Oh, really? The Bears won this week? And the last one was against the Raiders, which we're just finding out today were much more dysfunctional than I actually could have ever imagined because they just cleaned house in week 8 in the season where they're second in their division. So
Vegas, is that what you're talking about?
yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy.
so they had to have been really dysfunctional. So I don't think that they're the Bears. I don't think that win looks as impressive anymore, and I certainly don't believe in the Bears that much. So I'm gonna pick this. I'm gonna pick the Saints.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Saints here also. Tyson Bagent looked great in that first game that he played. Looked piss poor against the Chargers. Yeah, I'm just way more confident in the Saints. That's the reason I give for every team I pick. I have to say I'm way more confident in them, but it's true. Yeah, like Luke said, it's always a surprise whenever the Bears win a game. And I don't see them winning one here. So yeah, New Orleans for sure.
How many wins do they have? 2?
2-6. Yeah.
They beat the Saints and who else?
They beat the Saints and give me one sec.
I'm forgetting. I'm drawing a blank.
They beat the Saints and Commanders.
Oh, the Raiders and Commanders, not the Saints.
Oh, Raiders and Commanders, my bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. That Thursday night game. That was crazy. Anyway, shall we move on? Rams and Packers. This is another playoff matchup. These two played in 2021.
Yeah. Packers maybe not so much anymore. Rams, they just gotta start pulling together a win or two.
Oh, did I say matchup? I meant rematch. Sorry.
You did say matchup, and I was like, well,
I meant playoff matchup from like they played one point.
playoff rematch, yeah, sure. I'm gonna pick the Rams. I'm gonna keep the Packers are gonna keep getting kicked while they're down. I just saw a report today that the leadership is no longer completely sure that Jordan Love is their a long-term answer. It has not gone well for them there this year, and that's not exactly what I expected. I mean, I knew he wasn't going to come in and play like Jalen Hurts, but I certainly thought that he was going to be okay. He's not been good. The team's not been good. Aaron Jones hasn't been that good, and I just don't think that they're going to win this game. The Rams have a much more, like I said about the Titans, they have a much more explosive, potentially explosive offense, and if they can tap into some of that with the 2-star wide receivers, I think it's going to be a bad day for Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Rams as well. LA's looked, I mean, up and down, but they've got less question marks than Green Bay does. Green Bay just got embarrassed in their home stadium against their division rival Minnesota Vikings. I don't think there's a lot of positive vibes, momentum going on in that organization right now. I just think they look all around average. Aaron Jones hasn't looked that great. Christian Watson hasn't looked great at all this year. I don't even know who their tight end is. Their defense, I mean, has looked fine. Jordan Love started out great, but has extremely cooled down. I guess there's some question marks around Stafford's health for this game, but I assume he's playing. I think Stafford can get the job done in this one. I think the Rams can get a win here. So,
yeah, I'm gonna take the Rams as well. I was about to say it shows you how fast the NFL could flip because 2 years ago these teams were, competing for an NFC championship,
right.
And now they have combined through 8 weeks, 5 wins, which is just unheard of, but not unheard of.
It's wild.
Unexpected. Yeah.
Wow.
But either way, I think the Rams have more star power and a way better quarterback. So give me LA.
Yeah, I'm taking LA as well here. Moving on, Luke. Go ahead, it's Patriots game.
You're gonna have to remind me who we play.
The Commanders.
Commanders.
Oh, the Commanders. That's right. About as a forgettable team as any. I think I'm gonna pick us.
Go for it.
I'm going to pick the Patriots this week. Why not? Maybe we won't win. That's okay. I'll be wrong once. There aren't many games left where I can pick the Patriots. We have one of the hardest schedules in the NFL. We knew that going into this year, but this is one of them. And I think that Sam Howell is going to make. He's going to be playing, right? Is he hurt? I don't
Yeah.
even.
He'll be good.
Yeah, he's a quarterback that makes mistakes. He takes sacks. We'll punish him for that. And I'm no longer that scared of their defensive line. So if we can contain the wide receivers, Jahan Dotson just had a career week. Terry McLaurin is always an issue, but it doesn't get any harder than what we played last week. And I have no doubt that we can outcoach Ron Rivera. No offense, Adam.
None taken. None taken.
So I'm going to go out on a limb and pick us this week where I think even if you could say that they might be better than us, they might be playing a little bit more explosive than us. They're about 2 even teams, I think.
That's fair. Adam, my pick, if you are still thinking.
Go for it.
Sorry, Luke, I think I'm going to take Washington this week.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, maybe they are just unreal against the Eagles, but Sam Howell looked very solid last week outside of the one interception he threw. I don't know. Like you said, very even teams. I view these teams in the same light. Not saying the Patriots are forgettable by any means, like the Commanders are, but I don't know. Something's just telling me to pick the Commanders this week. So I'm going to go with them.
Yeah, it's understandable.
You know what? I'm going with the New England Patriots.
There you
go. I think it's like Luke said last week with Carolina. I got a weird feeling. They're going to win this week. I do. I just do.
I hope, man. You already seem more confident than I am.
Hey, we'll see. I mean, you guys beat the Bills at home. You can beat the Commanders at home. I think it can happen. I think it's going to be a nice bounce back from that tough loss in Miami. Good way to get win number 3 on the year. Or would this be win number 4?
Number 3.
Number 3. Gotcha. I think it's going to happen. So
I can definitely see that.
At this point, if not, it's fine.
Yeah.
Throwing in the towel, I'm hoping for a good draft pick. So,
yeah. Moving on, we got a great game here. Seahawks Ravens in Baltimore. I know who I'm picking, by the way.
I think I do too.
I do.
You want me to go first?
Go for it.
Seattle. On the road. Listen, I know I said Baltimore's rolling right now. They're rocking, they're rolling, they're playing really good football, but they always have one week where they just randomly don't look great. And last week, they only beat Arizona by a touchdown. I mean, does that give you a little bit of a red flag? This is either going to be, they're either going to have a game close to what they did to Detroit and just prove everyone wrong, or it's going to be really close, or they're going to lose. And I think if Seattle wins, it's going to be close. This could even be an overtime game again. Imagine Baltimore losing another overtime game at home. But I got Seattle. They've won games like this. They won a game like that in Detroit. These tough road games that you count them out of because the home environment is hard to play in. I think they're going to get the job done. And they just picked up Dexter Lawrence for that defense. They look even better now. Seattle, they're in first place in the division right now. Don't forget. They have a 1-game lead over the Niners right now. This is a huge chance with San Francisco on bye for Seattle to stretch this lead to 2 games. It would be crazy if they can do it.
Yeah.
Because they're what right now? 6-2, and the Niners are 5-3. If they could be 7-2, that would be.
They're 5-2.
They're 5-2?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they would be hard. It could be hard for the Niners to come back from. So
no, I agree
100%. But I think Seattle wins it.
If you don't mind, I'll go next because I want to put Dante in a position. I'm picking the Ravens. I will take your point about the Seahawks and the emphasis on this game for them about wanting to continue to build upon their lead on the 49ers. And I will present you a point about how the Ravens have an even more important point to be made with this game. The Bengals are back. They want to show that they can continue leading this division. They want to show that they're not afraid of the Bengals coming up in this division. They can beat a good team, a really good team. And especially at home, Lamar Jackson, he's been playing, he always plays like an MVP early on in the season. So we'll see if it lasts. But I think the Ravens have looked great this year. And Geno Smith looks great too. But, I still would take Lamar over Geno Smith on any given day. So I'm going to pick the
Baltimore
Ravens.
there.
I see you cringing. I would just because it was too faceted a game.
I'm not really cringing at what you're saying. I'm cringing at the fact that this is a really tough game to pick.
Okay, yeah. I mean, and I was thinking about this myself this week too. I've been thinking a lot about quarterback rankings recently. Because
I was today too.
I think that I would take Lamar over guys like Geno Smith and maybe even Josh Allen right now.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know about Josh Allen, but Geno Smith for sure, I'd say.
You can decide how much you want to read into that. Am I actually adding some value to this conversation, or did I just pivot completely just to throw in a little bit of Bills hate? You can decide for yourself.
This one's really a toss-up for me. I'm trying not to let my bias factor into my pick here because I really want to pick Seattle.
Yeah, I would like to see Seattle win.
But my gut is really telling me Baltimore's going to take this. So, Adam, give me the Ravens.
Going Ravens? All right. I will gladly be the only one to pick Seattle and be right.
I really hope you are, to be honest.
And the Ravens just beat a different bird last week.
Yeah, true.
Trying to beat another bird this week.
True.
And
But
before-
moving on.
Adam, before we move on,
Yeah.
can I take one last point, if you don't mind?
Yeah, go for it, man.
I want to give a shout out to the Seahawks for winning such a scrappy game against the Browns last week. That's what also made that pick really tough for me. Because the Browns defense, as we know, I'm the biggest Browns hater on earth. Great defense. Playing pretty solid football right now. And the fact that the Seahawks came back and won that game is very impressive to me. That's just the point that I wanted to make real quick.
Yeah, understandable. But the next game, second to last 1 p.m. game, we got a South Division battle, NFC South, AFC South. Texans are hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Got Baker Mayfield, CJ Stroud, two former top drafted QBs. Ohio State, Oklahoma action here.
Were the Buccaneers on a bye last week?
They were not. They lost to Buffalo on Thursday night.
Oh, that's right.
They might have been the week before.
Okay, well, either way.
Anyway, yeah, nobody was on bye last week.
Okay.
Everyone was playing last week. Anyway, I was thinking about this game. I think I'm going to go Houston. I think they can get a nice bounce back win at home. So give me them.
Yeah, I'm going to take Houston also. Man, we were so high on the Buccaneers early in the year, but their offense has really went downhill since then.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I kind of saw it coming, but
yeah, give me the Texans in this
Where
one.
did you say this game was?
Houston, NRG Stadium.
All right, I am taking Houston then. I'm a big believer that Tampa Bay is one of the best home field advantages in the NFL. Just because I think that stadium and their weather is great, but that would have maybe barely put me over the edge. But I just don't think I can pick the Buccaneers, sadly. Like you said, they were so much fun to watch weeks 1 through 3. They were so much fun to root for. I don't think they're horrible. I think that they're going to be. Well, I don't know if they're going to be in the running for the division win by the end of the year. That might be a Saints Falcons type of thing, but I don't think they're horrible. I view the Texans a little higher than I do them, even after last week. Yes.
That's fair.
Yeah. Last 1 p.m. game we got here. Cardinals and Browns in Cleveland. It's looking like it's going to be Clayton Tune for the Cardinals because there's no Dobbs there. Kyler's still out. I don't know. Do we know who's starting for Cleveland? Is it PJ Walker again?
I think Deshaun is practicing this week.
Okay.
It's still up in the air. However, that does not change my pick.
Oh, yeah, me neither. I'm going to go Cleveland. I think this is a no-brainer. Maybe our one no-brainer of the week. Most of these games are kind of close. except for a few of them maybe. But
Yeah.
This is a no-brainer pick for me. Arizona, they are now the worst team statistically record-wise in the NFL, and they've played like it recently. So I'm gonna go with Cleveland, especially since they're at home. I think they can win at home against Arizona.
Yeah, Cleveland.
Cleveland as well. Yeah.
All right.
Deshaun Watson is becoming a prime example of, I'm sure he is. Yeah, right. Think twice about it. I'm sure he is banged up, but he's becoming a prime example of when you guarantee somebody money, it's just going to decentivize actually working.
Yeah.
He's guaranteed all that money. Why would he play? Why would he rush back from injury? What's in it for him?
Yeah, because he's a fraud.
He's a lot of things, but doesn't matter if he's starting or not this week, like we all agreed. Browns are going to beat the Cardinals.
Yeah.
All right. On the 4 p.m. slate. First game we got Carolina Panthers hosting the Indianapolis Colts, coming off our first win of the year. Third straight game against an AFC opponent. Played Miami last 3 weeks ago now. Would be. Then we had our bye. Then we played Houston last week. Now we're playing the Colts. Frank Reich revenge game. I guess there's not really any player connections between the two that played the former teams, but
I didn't even think about that.
Justin Houston revenge game.
Oh yeah, that's true. I would say Stephon Gilmore if he was still in Indianapolis, but
Yep.
I think I'm gonna go with the Panthers. I think this is. I'm not gonna say we are going to win. I'm still not doubting Gardner Minshew. He's looked fine in this offense, in my opinion. Maybe not terrible, not great, but fine. But I think this is a winnable game. I think we can get it done. I'm not gonna go on a tangent and say we will for sure win. I think we can win if we do all the right things. And I think you're going to be looking at 2 wins in a row for your Carolina Panthers, in my opinion anyway. But hey, if you pick Indy, I won't be surprised. So.
Well, it looks like you won't be surprised at him. My apologies. I am going to pick Indy.
That's fine.
And it mainly comes down to that receiver core who is they've just blossomed these past couple of weeks.
They really have.
Michael Pittman and Josh Downs specifically. Yeah, those guys look great. Minshew looks the best he's ever been in his career. This is going to be a close game, I believe. However, give me the Colts. I just think Minshew has more experience than Bryce Young. However, in the future, I'll probably look like an idiot for picking Minshew over future Hall of Famer Bryce Young.
I like to think so, but hey, we're living in the moment right now. You got to go with what you think, and I want to add to your pick here. I'm thinking about it, and I think the run game will really play a big factor, maybe the main factor in who wins. In which Chuba Hubbard's been fine. Miles Sanders kind of been non-existent, low key. I don't know if it's him not playing well or us not using him, but the Colts kind of have that 2-headed monster this year of Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss, and maybe that plays in a factor of them getting a win against us. But anyway, Luke, who are you going with?
I am going with the Colts as well. Just to add to what Dante was saying, the running backs as well. Zach Moss has looked great alongside Jonathan Taylor, and Jonathan Taylor is going to continue to get better as he continues to grow back into the offense. And I trust Gardner Minshew at this stage in his career. I just do. And I'm curious about something. Trying to look something up. Give me 1 second I want to ask you guys something.
Okay.
But I need to look one more thing up. Okay. So I want to read you 2 career stat lines. Player A versus player B. And you're gonna have to tell me who you prefer.
Okay.
Actually, it might not be as cool and close as I thought, but this is still interesting.
Go for it.
Player 1 has about almost exactly a 2-to-1 touchdown ratio, 84 touchdowns, 41 interceptions, 92.5 rating, a little under 14,000 yards, and 66% completion in 57 career games played. Player B has played an entire season less, 40 complete games. He is a little over 8,000 yards. He has a better touchdown interception ratio, 51-20. A little bit worse of a QBR, 91.6, and a little bit worse of a completion percentage, 62.9. But player 1 has played on worse teams, I guess, now at this point in his career. I don't know. I remember seeing this question posed a while ago, and it seemed much more interesting at the time than it does now after having looked it up. Who do you think you would take?
I'm going player 2.
Yeah, I'd probably take player 2, just because, I mean, player 1 has more experience. Can I make a prediction on who these two players are?
You can.
Is one of them Gardner Minshew?
One of them is Gardner Minshew.
Is the other
kinda-
Josh Allen?
The other is not Josh Allen, although
I thought it would be Josh Allen too.
Who
I
is
have
it?
a feeling player 2 is Gardner Minshew.
Player 2 is Gardner Minshew, and you just chose him over Kyler Murray.
I would.
You would?
Honestly,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Especially whole career, Gardner. Maybe I look like a madman there, but Kyler Murray has been so underwhelming his entire career.
what's he done in his career other than go to the playoffs once and put up an absolute stinker?
I don't even remember them going to the playoffs. If I'm gonna be.
That was that 2021. They were the year they started like 7-0 or 8-0.
Yeah.
They finished like 11-5.
Who
They
they
got
lose
destroyed by the Rams in that game.
to?
That was the Rams' first win on their Super Bowl type run.
Well, here's why this was interesting back then. I remember because their rookie years, Gardner Minshew, 2019, he threw for 21 touchdowns, six interceptions, and 3,300 yards. Kyler Murray's rookie year, he threw for 3,700 yards, but 20 interceptions and 20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. So less touchdowns and double the interceptions. So.
That's crazy.
And at that point in time, everyone was like, obviously, Kyler is great. He's the next best thing. But it's just funny to me. So that was a segment that took way too long to go to show that I really do like Gardner Minshew, and I think that he can lead an offense to a win. And I am sorry, Adam, but I'm not picking the Panthers this week.
That's fine. Let's move on to the next one. We got Giants and Raiders. I forget his name already. I didn't even talk about the Raiders. I guess maybe Luke did a little bit, but they fired their head coach, their GM, and their OC. Mick Lombardi, Josh McDaniels, and Dave Ziegler. But the interim head coach is Antonio Pierce, who is the Raiders linebackers coach. And I guess he played on the Giants in their Super Bowl winning days recently, like I guess in recent memory, one of Eli's Super Bowls. So that'll be interesting. Him coaching, I guess, the team he played on. I believe you do have Danny Dimes coming back for this one. I think that's been rumored against rookie Aiden O'Connell, who got the start over Jimmy G today, who was benched. So I'm kind of drawing a blank of what to do here. Do you guys know who you're going with?
Yeah,
Go for it, Dante. Who is it?
I'm gonna take the Raiders. I think Aiden O'Connell. This is a perfect game for him to get his feet wet in the NFL against a really lackluster team in the Giants. He is going to be carried by their defense, I do believe, because we're outside of what we have seen from the Raiders, their defense has been improving these past couple weeks. Marcus Peters played pretty well. Max Crosby does what Max Crosby does. They played pretty well against a really good offense in the Lions this past Monday night. And yeah, I think the Raiders are going to get it done. Also, last breaking news of the episode.
Go for it, man.
Cam Hayward is officially playing tomorrow night. So
That's great.
thank God.
Fantastic.
I think I'm going to actually pick the Giants.
Okay.
I don't really I haven't given much thought to this one. I just think that Brian Dable should be able to outcoach an interim head coach. I don't know who it's going to be, but there are going to be some growing pains. I feel like this become my slogan this season is talking about growing pains, but there will be some in the recovery to the bomb that was dropped on the Raiders front office and coaching staff. So I don't think it's going to be, just not yet for the Raiders. They might be okay. Aiden O'Connell should show some flashes, but just not yet. And the Giants really need this win. If they don't, they only lose a couple more games and their season's over. And I think that they hold themselves to a higher standard, no matter what their record shows. So I think they really need this game, and they know it.
True. Very true.
One's tough. This one's
You
real
could-
tough, actually.
You could pick a tie.
No, I'm not doing it.
It hasn't worked out in the past,
No,
but
no, no, no. We're 0 for 1 on ties in the history of this podcast. Who do I go with? No, I can't bet on Danny Dimes. I'm going with Vegas. Taking the Raiders at home. I don't know how confident I am in that though. Then again, I would say the same thing picking the Giants. This is one of those games where somebody has to win.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Thank God it's not prime time.
Right.
Speaking of some of the primetime games, though, this next game should be prime time. The fact that it's not is just off the charts.
It's a really easy pick for me.
It is for me too, but I said Dolphins Chiefs is the game of the week. This might be game of the week, actually. Eagles Cowboys rivalry, classic game, playing in Philly. And I'm going to use the same philosophy I used for the Dolphins Chiefs game. The Cowboys this year, it's kind of different. I mean, I'm not going to use fully the good teams argument, but I kind of am. The Cowboys, they have the same cycle they go with. They have an average whatever win, and then they play really well, and they're like, there's a few like weeks where they look like everyone's like, oh, this is the greatest offense ever, and then they just self-destruct. And this is the week I think they self-destruct against Philly. I think the Eagles are just, I'm going to say it, they're a tier above the Cowboys. In my opinion, they just are. Both offensively and defensively. They have looked like a better team. And I think they're going to get it done at home here. Philly fans need something to be excited about right now. So those birds are going to help come through for them. So I got the Eagles.
what do you think, Dante?
Eagles.
I was going to say, I wasn't sure who you were picking, but I was pretty certain you wouldn't say that this was easy and then pick the Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I'm picking the Eagles as well.
Yeah. Tough game, but also kind of a no-brainer at the same time.
It could be an amazing game or it could be not a very good game. This is
Yeah.
just the kind of game that the Cowboys just probably aren't going to win.
What was I'm trying to think of it was like the game. It was like Eagles in Miami. Like it was
Yeah, that was a good game.
It was
But
31-17, but like we expected a like more competitive game, I guess.
yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, Eagles.
Anyways, shall we go on to the two primetime games left? Sunday night,
This is what I think is the game of the week.
it could be Bills-Bengals, rematch of last year. I gotta say, hopefully it doesn't end the way it did last year.
Yeah,
And they play, and
definitely not. We won't even have to mention that.
yeah, I hope not. I shouldn't have even mentioned it myself, but
No, it's valid to mention.
yeah, of course. That being said, I'm gonna take Cincinnati. They've been on a roll recently. I think they're gonna get the win here against Buffalo. I think it'll be close though. Could have come down to a field goal touchdown difference, but I think Cincinnati, this could be like a, I don't know, like a 24-16 type game or a 24-20 type game, something like that. I think Cincinnati is going to get the win. Very close, but I think they win.
I'm going to go with Cincinnati also.
Luke, clean sweeping it.
All right, I'm going to enjoy clean sweeping the Bills.
Who wouldn't enjoy it?
Over under 1 or over under 0.5 Stephon Diggs sideline temper tantrums this game.
Well, I gotta smash the over.
Taking the over.
AKA, is it going to happen or not? It has to happen. It's going to happen.
Happen at least once.
Pretty inevitable.
How about this? Over under 2 interceptions from Josh Allen.
Maybe under. You know, he's been throwing like 1 a game, but yeah, I'm picking the Bengals.
If I said over under 1.5 interceptions for Josh Allen, would you still say under?
Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, it's the same thing as
Saying
pretty much.
over under half over. I think he's gonna throw.
So basically, we're saying 1.
Yeah.
I'll throw it to Steeler legend Mike Hilton.
Ooh. Loved Mike Hilton.
Yeah.
I had a friend in high school who had a Mike Hilton jersey. Funny story.
Oh, nice.
Anyway.
Nice.
Anyway, last game.
Last game. Chargers and Jets in New York, Monday Night Football. This is the Jets' 3rd primetime game at home this year. They are 1-1 so far, beat the Bills and lost to the Chiefs. Jets have been on a roll recently, I can't lie. Chargers just picked up what I think was a massive win that they really needed. But who are we going to go
I can go first if you guys are uncertain.
Go
I know
for it.
who I'm going with, but Luke, go ahead.
So the Jets last week got a ton of credit for winning a game in which the defense held the Giants' passing attack, which was down to their 3rd string quarterback, to -9 yards.
Jeez.
There were 15 punts in the first half, I think it was, and the New York Jets punter was one of the players of the week. It's so unserious. It's not sustainable, and I think the Chargers are going to win this game. Are going to win this game. I just don't think the Jets have it in them to get this. They're not going to get this lucky again. They've been winning games, and I just they're so annoying to me that
They
they're
won't
getting
win
so
this
much
week.
credit for these dumb little wins, and it's not sustainable. But I'm picking the Chargers.
I agree. Adam?
Thank you. You guys have convinced me to clean sweep this. I'm going LA.
And the Jets, these wins are not sustainable. They're not impressive. Zach Wilson has not been impressive. I don't care what Twitter heads will tell you. I make this joke all the time in our text group chat that I make this analogy that he will. I think I talked about this. I said this exact thing last episode. I was like, he'll play like crap an entire game, and then he'll lead one drive in which he's 7 for 9 and 62 yards, one dropped interception that leads to a field goal, and everybody will, and Tony Romo will say, "Well, look at his potential." It's like he's getting potty trained. It's not. He doesn't need to be treated like a little kid. It's okay if he sucks. He's just not good.
And if you're gonna do that, give Mac that treatment.
Yeah,
or give Kenny that treatment, or give
don't even give anyone that treatment. They just And the same thing I said last week. They just give Zach Wilson this treatment because he hasn't hit puberty yet, and they feel bad for him. And I don't know what it is. People look at his face and they assume he's like 13 years old, and so they have this deep down instinct to treat him like a little kid, and to give him cookies.
Sorry, I just saw something. That's why I'm laughing a little bit.
I digress.
Anyway,
these wins just haven't been impressive to me.
I could also say I was laughing at Luke hating on the Jets because it's funny.
Who knows?
Yeah. You don't want to see me if we lose to them, because then I'll be so mad. I'm saying all this and we'll beat them. I don't even need it. I don't even have anything to prove.
I saw something. Let me ask you guys this question, because I keep seeing stuff. You think there's any chance Aaron Rodgers is back this year?
I think he'll be back.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think he'll be too good, but I think he'll be back.
Yeah, I could see it. Fine. I don't know when though. He's recovering oddly well. It's just crazy how well his recovery is going.
I'm not surprised.
He's
the best doctors and best facilities in the world.
I'm not surprised either, but the dude's like 39 years old.
Yeah.
That's what's surprising to me a little bit. Is a guy that old is recovering. Well, I mean, maybe not old in human age standards.
In NFL, yeah, no, we get it.
In NFL standards, he's really old, but he's recovering really well.
And listen, I'm not one to take ayahuasca or talk about these essential oils or whatever it is he's doing. And I don't know what they probably don't really have health benefits. He's probably fooling himself into it. But one thing I can say is the guy doesn't seem like he's ever very stressed. Maybe that's just because he knows that there will be no quarterback competition waiting for him. And you saw the entrance he gave week 1. It was like the king has come home to the kingdom after winning a battle.
Yeah.
It was crazy how much everybody seemed to love him
Mhm.
immediately. And so there are no expectations. He doesn't seem very stressed. He has world-class doctors and a world-class facility, and his team is somehow winning some games. So I'm not that shocked by his fast recovery.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, I hate to cut it short, but I am running late to flag football at the moment. But
Oh, good. I gotta get going too.
Don't make us proud.
I am QB1, unfortunately, so I do have to go.
Hey,
You're what one?
I'm QB1.
Sounds like you are making us proud. All right.
Got
Have
this.
fun.
All right, fellas. That'll do it for
All
us.
right. Adam,
Dante?
And Luke.
Dante, have fun at football tonight. Have fun at the Steeler game.
Hopefully I'm back next week with a smile on my face. And hopefully
Hope
I'm
so.
not tortured by the Mayo Man. But
I'm rooting for the Steelers.
we shall see.
All right, boys.
Peace.
We were scheduled.